not the hardest thing that has happened to you. You might feel buried, but a lot of what feels like a burial is really a planting. The soil is dark, the pressure is heavy, and nothing looks pretty. But something inside you is still alive and still capable of pushing through. Before anything around you changes, the way you think has to change. Your money will not change if your mindset around money is the same. Your health will not improve if you continue to think the same way about food, movement, and rest. Your relationships will not change if your beliefs about yourself and other people stay where they have always been. Everything begins with what you allow to live in your mind. Life has probably thrown you some punches. Maybe you grew up without support. Maybe you made choices you regret. Maybe you trusted the wrong people or stayed too long in the wrong job. None of that means you are disqualified from a better future. It just means your rebuild might be messier and might require more patience and more honesty. We are not here to polish the surface or put fresh paint on a cracked wall. We are here to check the foundation, to look under the rug where you have been sweeping things for years, to admit what has been ignored, and then to build from there. Not overnight, not with magic, but with daily, deliberate work. To rebuild your mindset in a real and lasting way, you need clear anchors, clear principles you can come back to when the day gets loud and your emotions start to swing. These are not cute phrases. These are practical ways to think and act. There are 16 of them, and if you work them consistently, they will reshape how you see yourself, your problems, and your future. Stop pretending you are somewhere you are not. You cannot fix what you refuse to face. If your finances are a mess, if your health is off track, if your confidence is low, if your relationships are full of drama, denying it will not change it. There is a strange relief that comes the moment you say, "This is my real situation, and I am tired of lying to myself about it." A lot of people spend more energy maintaining an image than they do building a life. They smile for photos, post positive quotes, and tell everybody they are fine, while inside they are confused and exhausted. That performance is heavy to carry. When you admit the truth, you put that weight down. You stop trying to convince the world you are okay and finally give yourself permission to become okay. Owning where you are is not about beating yourself up. It is about calling the problem by its real name. If you keep saying you are just unlucky with money, you will never address the fact that maybe you overspend. If you keep saying everyone leaves you, you will not look at your own patterns and relationships. Honesty is not cruelty. Honesty is a doorway. One practical way to own your reality is to sit down in a quiet space with a piece of paper and write out the different areas of your life. Write about your money, your body, your work, your habits, your relationships, your emotional health. Under each one, describe where you truly are, not where you wish you were, and not the story you tell others. This is not for social media. This is for you. It might hurt to look at it in black and white. You may feel shame, regret, or anger. Let those feelings come, but do not stop there. Remind yourself that this paper is not a judgment. It is a starting point. It is the truth of today, not the sentence for the rest of your life. You cannot rebuild a house if you keep pretending the cracks are not there. And you cannot rebuild a mindset you refuse to inspect. When you own where you are, you move from asking, "Why is this my life?" to asking, "What can I do from here?" That shift is powerful. You stop being a permanent victim of your circumstances and become a student of your reality. Every student has something to learn and something they can practice. That is a much stronger position than standing in the dark, pretending the lights are on. Once you know where you really stand, the next question is simple but deep. If this is my current reality, who do I want to become from here? That takes us to the second key in rebuilding your mindset, because knowing the truth about where you are only matters if you decide where you are going next. Most people say they want a better life, but they never define what better actually looks like. They talk about wanting more money, more happiness, more peace, but they never paint a clear picture of the kind of person they would have to become for that life to make sense. Without a clear vision of who you are becoming, Your decisions stay random and reactive. Think beyond possessions and titles. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be when no one is watching? Do you want to be disciplined? Do you want to be patient? Do you want to be bold? Do you want to be someone who keeps promises, someone who tells the truth, someone who does not break down every time life gets hard? Character is the root. The results are the branches. Grab another sheet of paper and describe your future self in detail. Write how that person handles stress, how they handle money, how they treat their body, how they speak to others, and how they talk to themselves. Be specific. Instead of just saying successful, describe what success means to you in daily behavior. Instead of just saying happy, describe what a typical day looks and feels like. At first, this version of you might feel far away. That is good. If there were no distance, there would be nothing to grow into. Do not let the gap between who you are and who you want to be discourage you. Let it guide you. That gap is not a reason to quit. It is a roadmap that shows you exactly where your work is. Once you decide who you are becoming, your choices start to sort themselves out. When a situation comes up, you can ask, what would the future me do here? Would that person hit snooze again or get up? Would that person blow this money or save it? Would that person argue for hours or walk away? Decision-making gets simpler when your identity is clear. You will notice there are habits, relationships, and mindsets that do not fit the person you want to become. That is normal. The old will not quietly walk away. It will try to drag you back into patterns you outgrew. Every time you choose in favor of the new you, even in a small way, you are rebuilding your mindset. You are teaching your brain that this new identity is real. Deciding who you want to become also makes it easier to face your past. You stop seeing old mistakes as proof that this better version of you is fake. Instead, you see them as chapters in your story that led you to this decision. When you are clear on who you are becoming, you can look back without staying back, and that clarity makes it much easier to embrace the next key, which is taking full responsibility for your life. There is no question that life can be unfair. People can hurt you in ways you did not deserve. Systems can be stacked against you. Doors can close on you for reasons that have nothing to do with your effort or your heart. A lot of what happened to you was not your fault. But what happens next, that part is on you. Taking responsibility does not mean pretending everything that happened was okay. It does not mean excusing other people's behavior or ignoring injustice. It means refusing to hand them permanent control over your future. As long as your story is that if they had done better, I would be better, you have chained your growth to their choices. Look at any area of your life where you feel stuck and listen to the story you tell about it. If you hear mostly blame, you have found a place where you gave your power away. You might be right about what they did and still be wrong about what you are doing now. Healing is not passive. Progress is not automatic. They will not come to apologize perfectly so that you finally feel free. You have to choose freedom yourself. One way to practice responsibility is to change your questions. Instead of asking why they do this to me over and over, start asking what I do now that this has happened. Instead of asking, why is my life so hard? Ask what skill, mindset, or support do I need to handle this season? Questions like that move you from helpless to active. You will feel resistance here. Blame feels comforting because it lets you avoid looking at your own habits. If everything is their fault, you never have to change. But you also never get to win. Responsibility is uncomfortable at first, but it is the only path to real power. Once you say, this part is mine, your mind starts looking for solutions instead of more justification. Taking responsibility might mean admitting you stayed somewhere too long. It might mean admitting you ignored signs. It might mean admitting you keep repeating a pattern. Again, this is not about shame. This is about reclaiming your influence over your own story. You cannot redo the first chapters, but you can absolutely direct the next ones. When you combine honesty about where you are, clarity about who you want to become, and full responsibility for your choices, you start to see your life differently. You realize there are things you can change right now, but there are also external forces that keep pulling you back. A huge part of that pull is your environment, which brings us to the next key. You cannot rebuild a new mindset while soaking in the same old influences all day. If you keep breathing in the same air, you keep thinking the same thoughts. The shows you watch, the people you hang around, the places you spend your time, they all send messages about what is normal, what is possible, and what you should expect from yourself. Look at your circle. Are you surrounded by people who laugh when you talk about changing your life? Do they dismiss your goals? Do they only call when there is drama or gossip? Do they encourage your worst habits and get uncomfortable when you try to grow? If so, your mindset is fighting uphill every single day. Changing your environment does not always mean moving to another city or cutting out everyone you know overnight. Sometimes it means small, intentional shifts. Maybe you should stop spending hours at that place where everyone complains. Maybe you limit time with a friend who always pulls you into trouble. Maybe you start spending more time in spaces where growth is the norm, even if that means starting online. Pay attention to what your room, your car, and your home look like. Are they chaotic, cluttered, full of old reminders of who you used to be? Or do they support the person you are becoming? You do not need expensive furniture to create a better environment. You need order, cleanliness, and reminders of your goals. A simple, tidy space can calm your mind and make it easier to focus on change. Your digital environment matters just as much. Who do you follow? What shows up every time you open your phone? Is it negativity, arguments, or endless entertainment that distracts you from your own life? Or is it people who challenge you, teach you, or show you what is possible? Curating what you see is not fake, it is strategic. You are protecting the front door of your mind. You may feel guilty about stepping back from certain people or places. You might worry they will feel judged or abandoned. Remember, you are not saying you are better than anyone. You are saying you are committed to being better than your old self. Sometimes that commitment means loving people from a distance so you can finally show up fully present in your own life. Once your environment begins to support your growth, you will still have days when you do not feel like doing the work. This is where many people fall off because they think they need to wait until they are inspired. That is the next key in rebuilding your mindset, and it is one of the most important. Motivation is nice, but is unreliable. One day you wake up excited, the next day you wake up tired and discouraged. If your progress depends on how you feel when you open your eyes, your life will always swing back and forth. Discipline is what carries you on the days when your feelings do not show up to help. Think about the things you already do every single day without fail. You brush your teeth whether you feel like it or not. You get dressed before you leave the house. You might go to work even on days when you wish you could stay in bed. Those are all disciplines, habits you repeat because you decided they are non-negotiable, not because you are inspired every time. To build discipline in a new area, start by lowering the bar enough that you cannot logically argue your way out of it. If you want to start exercising, commit to 10 minutes a day, not 2 hours. If you want to read more, commit to 5 pages, not a whole book a week. Your brain can accept small steps more easily, and once you start, you often end up doing more than you planned anyway. Discipline is like a muscle. At first, it feels weak. You will forget, you will mess up, you will make promises you do not keep. Instead of calling yourself a failure, treat it like training. When you skip a day, notice what happened. Were you tired? Did you get distracted? Did you schedule it at the wrong time? Adjust and try again. That is how muscle grows. Remind yourself that you do not need to feel like it to do it. This one mindset shift can change your life. You can be tired and still show up. You can be scared and still show up. You can be unsure and still show up. When you act despite your feelings, you are teaching your brain that your commitments are stronger than your moods. Over time, discipline will build trust between you and yourself. Every small promise you keep is a message to your mind that says, When we say we will do something, we do it. That kind of self-trust is priceless. It quiets the inner voice that says you never follow through and replaces it with proof that you can. Once you start building discipline, the next step is deciding where to apply it first. Trying to overhaul everything at once is a setup for burnout. That is why the next key is to focus on small, daily wins that stack up over time and slowly reshape how you see yourself. When people get serious about changing their lives, they often swing too far and try to transform everything overnight. They go from eating fast food every day to a strict diet, from never working out to 2-hour gym sessions, from chaos to rigid schedules. It looks impressive for a week and then they crash. The problem was not their desire, it was their pace. Your brain does not like sudden extreme shifts. It interprets them as a threat, and eventually it pushes you back toward what feels familiar. Small, steady wins are less dramatic, but far more sustainable. They allow your identity to adjust gradually instead of snapping back like a rubber band. Choose 1 or 2 simple wins you can hit every day, no matter how busy you are. It might be making your bed as soon as you get up. It might be drinking a certain amount of water. It might be reading a few pages from a real book instead of scrolling. These wins do not have to be impressive to anyone else. They only need to be consistent. Track those wins somewhere you can see them. Use a calendar, a notebook, or an app. Put a mark down every day you complete your small habits. Over time, you will see a chain of proof that you are capable of consistency. On the days when you feel discouraged, that chain becomes a reminder that this is not just talk. You are actually doing the work. Do not underestimate what a small habit can do. 10 minutes of reading every day turns into multiple books in a year. A short daily walk can dramatically change your energy and mood over months. Setting aside a bit of money each week can build a savings buffer you never had before. The power is not in the size of the action, but in the repetition. Small wins also help you recover from bad days faster. When your main habits are manageable, you can still keep them even when life gets hectic. Instead of disappearing for months after a setback, you can hold on to your basics. That keeps your mindset anchored. So you do not feel like you are starting from zero every time something goes wrong. As these small wins accumulate,